All right. So hello. Hello, hola, notice teacher. My name is William, and yes, and I use the name Nas Duke on your gold the tournament, and yes, William. I use that as my yes, I put that as my Mandarin name. Today I'm going to talk about why do I want to learn Spanish and Mandarin. Now I know you see the picture of type of this. Yeah, this is a city. This is a picture of a city of Taipei, Taiwan. Yeah, that's the tower. That's the ones that that's the. And I heard this is the tallest tower in Taipei, Taiwan. Anyway, and yes, I do believe that And yes, I do believe that Taiwan is a country and not a Chinese province. I've been learning that too from geography as well. Now, and you ask me why does the United States doesn't recognize Taiwan? Well, that's beyond me. I live in the U.S., but I can still claim it. I can still believe that Taiwan is a country, and here's how I know Taiwan is a country, because Taiwan has its own government. They have their own president, which is Lai Jing-te. And Taiwan has their own culture, their own military. Well, yeah. And now I know they might speak the same language as China, Mandarin, but in Taiwan they use traditional Chinese characters instead of simplified. So, yeah. So that's a difference thing. So. I'm on Google Earth, so today I'm going to talk about why do I want to learn Spanish and Mandarin. Yes. Now, if you want to know what Mandarin is, if you don't know, if you ask me what is Mandarin, is a language. Well, it's a both spoken Chinese language. Okay, it's I really don't know why it's called. And here's why I'm referring to it as Mandarin and not Chinese, because I want to, because the name, first of all, that's not first of all, the name, first of all, Chinese is not the name of the language. First of all, it's the name. It's the name is called Mandarin. That's why. Because why? Well, first of all, Chinese is a language family. So you got because you got more than just Mandarin. I know. I heard there's Fujianese, there's Cantonese, and Shanghainese, etc. So, yeah, that's why I said, that's why I only said Mandarin. That's why I'm only calling it Mandarin. Okay. Anyway, so. But let's get to Spanish first, and then I'll get on to Mandarin. So why do I want to learn Spanish? Well, there's a lot of Spanish speakers here in my state, California. The state I live in. This state right here, I have the California flag right here, and the United States flag. So when you pull out something on Google Translate, Okay, I'll go pull out Google Translate for you guys. And see we're getting on over here, so now I'll do it on the Spanish. Now, I'll tell you what. So what I heard was I have to memorize sentences, not word by word, and I understand that when I try to learn languages. Yeah, I understand about that, and I will make sure of that. What about I live in the United States? So yeah, Google Translate suggesting is vivo en Los Estados Unidos. Now, yo vivo, yeah. So you can say is yo vivo en Los Estados Unidos, or you can say just vivo en Los Estados Unidos. Now, yeah, now I know the United States in Spanish is Los Estados Unidos. So. Yeah, I know, and I know that. And am I thinking right? And why? Yeah, I know, and I know it's pretty mouthful to say this. Yeah, the words Los Estados Unidos, but that's what the United States is called in Spanish. And if I want to say I live in the United States in Spanish, I'll say vivo en Los Estados Unidos. Now, what about in Mandarin? Well. So, but first let's get into Spanish. So, now what about in Mandarin? Let's see. It's 我是在美国. Probably not. You can also. Yeah, I'll show you the differences on Google Translate so you can say it.
Vivo en los Estados Unidos.
Yeah, and then and that's here in Mandarin.
我住在美国.
Yeah, so, yeah. 我住在美国. Yeah, that's what I meant. And probably not. I don't know how good. If you can tell me how good my Mandarin is because but I don't. But to me, I don't know very much Mandarin, so, but so you can tell me if I'm pronouncing it correctly. But and what I think of, and what countries do I believe I would visit then? Well, I was thinking about visiting Mexico. Yes, and yes, I would like to visit Canada, but yeah, Canada has English as well, so I don't have to worry about that much. This is at Mexico, I'm gonna have to learn Spanish. That's one. I'm gonna have to speak Spanish to the people, to the locals, and that's fine. And that's fine. I will visit. I might visit Mexico sometime. Not anytime soon, but I would sometime in the future. But there's any countries I would visit in South America? Well, sure. Chile and Argentina might be good. And I have people from Brazil talk to me on Instagram, but but I'm not learning Portuguese. I'm just learning Spanish. So. And I know, and yeah, so, and and yes, and yes, one of my friends did visit Peru as well. That's and there's and there's the country that has the word equator in Spanish, Ecuador. Yeah. That means I visit anywhere in Europe sometime too, like Spain or the UK or whatever. I don't know yet. I was thinking about this. I know I have people. I know I there are people telling me about me visiting Italy and stuff. I heard about Germany as well because Germany has beautiful castles and stuff, and well, I think many places in Europe as well. But you know, Africa, well, so that's Europe right there, and there's Africa right here. And I heard the only Spanish-speaking country I heard that's in Europe. Well, there's also Morocco, but that has French and stuff. But here's one more. It's an autocratic country. Equatorial Guinea. Yeah, it's an autocratic country. I don't know. I don't think I want to visit there, but who knows? Maybe not anytime soon, but we'll see. I don't know what the future holds. But yeah, so let's get on to why do I want to learn Spanish? So, well, there's a lot of Spanish speakers I have, and now I have a Spanish. Now my church now has a Spanish speaking ministry. You can see that too. Yeah. You know. And I ask people, do I know what's your name in Spanish? Well, como te llamas? And yeah, I want to say, and then it might say my name is, or you could say name or yes, or me llamo. The name William in Spanish is Guillermo, and then Edward in Spanish is Eduardo. If you want to know that, yes. And yeah, I'll start taking Spanish class in college, but right after I'm finished getting this GED done, because right now I'm trying to get a GED so I can hopefully start working, so I can start working too. And I'll go to college after that. I want to take Spanish class at college, just not right now because I'm trying to get this GED done, but I'll get it done soon. Okay. And I have to take things one at a time. Well, I want to be able to talk to Spanish-speaking people and get them saved and get them to believe the Bible. And yes, I do have the Bible in Spanish. Yeah, I think it's called Reina Vera Gomez, Bolivia. Someone on Discord wants to talk to me, but I'll talk to him later. Anyway, you got to wait. Anyway. All right, so oh, this. Oh, this. And again, he has to wait. Anyway, now what he has is now, so what about what's your name? And I'm asking, so do I know what's your name in Mandarin? Well, no, but I can look up a Google Translate for you.
你叫什么名字？
你叫什么名字? I'm gonna have to remember that. So that's how to say what's your name in Mandarin. Yeah, 你叫什么名字? Okay. And I have to put my name is. Let's just put my name is. That's fine. And I have to. So, in Mandarin it will be
我的名字是
okay. 我的名字是. I'm probably not saying. I'm probably. And I'm trying to say the best I can because I'm not great. I'm not good. Because my Mandarin's not so great. But I'm trying to say the best I can. And do I like any of the Spanish cultures? I would say Mexican culture is fine. It's not the best culture I like. Chilean culture, Argentinian culture is fine. Spaniard culture, well, it's alright. It's not, when I think about it. And I know that Italy has Italian and Germany has German, and then France has French as their languages. But I'm not gonna get to those right now. So yeah, Spaniard culture. I don't know. So what about Equatorial culture? I don't know. What about the Equatorial culture? Equatorial culture. Well, I don't know. I think it's all right. It's probably not. It's probably not great. Now, what about Mandarin now? Now, why do I now? Now the question is, why do I learn Mandarin? Well, let's get on to this country here. This is why. Well, I do have a lot of Mandarin speakers, and there's a lot of Mandarin speakers here in California. And yeah, I know most of them are from this country. Yeah, I know the autocratic China, but but there is also this country. but there's also a country that also has Mandarin speakers, but instead of being autocratic, this one is democratic. Yes, Taiwan. Yes, Taiwan's a democratic country, and yeah, Taipei is right there. So there's Taipei. Yeah, Toyang. Okay. Oh yeah, there's Tainan right there. Hangzhou, yeah. Yeah. There's also counties. So, Changhua County, Yolin County. Oh, yeah, and that's. Oh, yeah, there's a city called Qisheng. So, yeah. Now, how do I learn that Taiwan is a democratic country? Well, from many people that have been there, you know. Mostly from Lewis. Yeah, his channel is called Lewis Hand. Yeah, his channel is called Free China. But yeah, he does talk about Taiwan a lot in his videos. He's been using his Taiwan flag, and he's been showing his Taiwan flag everywhere in the UK and stuff. It is right there anyway. Yeah, just right. Yeah, somewhere over here in the UK. Yeah, that's. I'm not sure where Lewis Hand lives, but yeah, he's probably But I heard he said he lives in the UK, which is somewhere over here. All right. So back to this. So, but I was thinking about visiting Taiwan. I don't know if I would. I don't know much about living there yet because I might have to check out Taiwan before I can worry about living abroad before I can be living abroad as a vacation home and something like that. Yeah. Plus I'm not worried about Taiwan taking over by autocratic China, but that could happen. But yeah, of course that could happen, but I don't know why I've been talking to people about this and they've been worried about Taiwan and being taken over by this. Look, I know that Taiwan is being bullied by China. Same with Japan. Here, just right here. But I don't have to. I'm not gonna. But I can't always talk about that. But I can't disagree. You can't. I can't just worry about that. And look, I'm not gonna worry about China taking over Taiwan. If I was in Taiwan, okay, I'm not gonna worry about that. Okay, and I'm not, because I'm not afraid of that happening. And plus, people in Taiwan have been living just fine. They're not worried, and So yeah, Taiwan is a country I would visit, but no, but yeah, not this country. I'm not gonna tell you why that I don't want to visit China, but I'll tell you why, because it's not a correct country. It's not. It's just not great. Nah, it's not what you think I expect at all. It's just It's just terrible. And I'll talk about that in a different video. Why it's just, yeah. I'll talk about, yeah, I know there's a lot of movies about China. Mulan, Kung Fu Panda. Yes, I got, there's also a cat show that took place in China. Sagwa. The Chinese Siamese cat. Yeah, that. Um, And yeah, I used to watch Ni Hao Kailan, but it also takes place in the U.S. There was there was an episode of her visiting China. So yes, I did watch it. And well, and yes, I know that China's called Zhongguo in Mandarin. Middle Kingdom. Yeah, I know. I heard in ancient history that China used to be thinking that they're in the middle of the world and stuff like that. And yeah, I know it's false, but that's what they used to believe in. So. So I'll talk about more about China. Maybe why it's terrible to why it's just terrible to live there. I'll talk about the next video, but I'll tell you who I did learn it from. I'll tell you where I did learn it from, or maybe I can show you. There it is. This guy, Matthew Tai from Lawa 86. And yes, it's YouTube channel. Yeah, that's the name of his YouTube channel. Yes, the government's to come out. I think he has also a Twitter account. Well, I think it's called X now on. Oh yeah, he was born in 1986. So. And also one of his nickname is Sea Milk. So. And there's his there's about him in Wikipedia page, Matthew Tai. So yeah, this is I used to watch his YouTube, and I used to watch this show about I used to watch him about China and stuff. Yeah, I mean, how do you, and how do you, yeah, how do you, yeah, how do you, yeah, why did he live in China for 10 years and how he left and now he lives in the U.S. You can read all about right here. I'm not going to read it to you because it just takes too long for me to read, but I'll let you read it to yourself if you want to. Now, Winston Snursel from Serpent CA. I'll show you him too. So here it is, Winston Snursel from Serpent CA. And I heard that, yeah, and I do heard that this guy is from South Africa. Just like Elon Musk from South Africa. So, yeah, so he was born in 1980. And he said, and yeah, and I heard from Winston Snurzel, lived in China for like about 14 years. Yeah. But now he lives in the U.S., so. So now, yeah, so now these guys are both trying yeah, I know, talk about the vaccines in China, criticize the Chinese government and all that. Yeah, I understand about that. And now me showing these guys to you, probably makes me probably another target of the Chinese government as well, but oh well. But I've been learning about China from them, basically. Well, mostly the bad thing. Well, mostly the good and the bad. So, I know, because I used to live there, and now they live in the U.S. So, but they still have their videos about China, even though they live in the U.S. So, yeah. Now, Matsby, do I love the Taiwanese culture? Well, yes, I do. I love the Taiwanese culture. The Taiwanese culture is great. Well, I think I heard it's just. I think it's no. I think it's just probably, um, the modern version of the old Chinese culture that wasn't destroyed by Chen Mao Zedong. Yeah, and that's what we heard. Yeah, so I think the Chinese culture is great and stuff. So now, what I think about the modern Chinese culture? Well, and I know the old Chinese culture is destroyed by Chen Mao Zedong, but what about the modern Chinese culture? Well, the modern version of it, I used to believe that I love it, but I don't know. It's all mixed with autocratic. But if you want to know about, I mean, autocracy, that's what they're calling it. Yeah, that's why I have to say it anyway, but. Or you can also say that. Well, of course, yes, I know, and yes, I know the government is trying to call this country, a communist country, but it's more like autocratic than communist. Communism is not China. And plus, communism didn't even start in China. It got started here. I'll show you. It started here in Germany. And that's where communism got started. Karl Marx, he started communism here in Germany. So, and yeah, he probably did. He probably went to Russia to bring communism to Russia as well. So, this is how they got it to China. I don't have an answer. It's probably some kind of history about it because of the Chinese Civil War and all that. I don't know much the history about it. So yeah, I know they want to call themselves communist, but they're just but to me they're just autocratic. No, no, credit country. That's I just would just consider it anyway, because you know I'll talk about more about that. But these I have, but these there's Taiwan, the democratic country of Taiwan. That I would visit, yes. Now, what about Japan? Well, yeah, I know, and I know that Japan is Japanese as their language, but well, we'll see. I might visit Japan too, but Taiwan, you know. But I've been hearing about tourism ruining Japan, and I know that's not good either. So I don't know if I heard about that in Taiwan yet, but hopefully not. You know. But I know I heard from people that if you're saying that Asia is your fantasy land, you're ruining it for everybody, and that is true because. And that is true. I believe that, yes. So yeah, don't go to Japan or Taiwan if you're gonna ruin. If you're gonna ruin it with your with your tricks. All right, well, so I guess I have to say is, like I said, I have to practice speaking to people, right? Yeah, I don't have very much people to speak with. I can also try to speak the language myself. I don't know very much of the language either. I guess I can still keep learning on these language learning apps and try to keep memorizing sentences. And yes, memorize sentences, not word by word. I have to, and yes, memorize. I have to learn. And yes, I'll try to memorize sentences, not word by word sentences, because that's what I have to learn about. Because when I heard me just memorizing word by word, you got a long way to go. And that's what I learned about. So, and plus I know this, yeah, and plus I know that YouTube is just getting. I know people on YouTube. I know people are getting angry about YouTube about the AI age verification and this, and now the AI slop now too. I don't know what's up with YouTube now. I mean now everything on YouTube is going to be just artificial intelligence AI. I think that's stupid, anyway, but. So what about my games? If you have any questions, well, I'll talk about, and yeah, I'll talk about So yes, I'll talk about why I believe that China is a terror country to live, and I'll talk about the CCP as well in another video, because I'll talk about that. I'll talk about those things in another video because you might have any questions and stuff about that. So. All right, but yeah, I know I know I've been living in the U.S. for a long time, so hopefully, and yes, I'll get and yes, I know in order to visit another country, I have to get a passport, yeah, and a visa. Well, and some of them do require a visa, so but I'll get a passport, you know, in the future, you know. Do I like the idea of getting a passport? I don't know, but I'll get one anyway. No, I don't think it will bother me anyway, getting one anyway. At least it's not that big of a deal. I heard getting one is easy, so I'll get one soon. And then I'll visit other countries. And then probably have to get a road, and I will, and yes, I did learn how to drive. I got my driver's license, and in last year. Yeah, learning how. Yeah, me. It took me a long time for me to learn how to drive, but yeah, I got it all though. So yes, I have my driver's license now too. Basically, yes, but it just took me a long time because it took me a long time to learn how to drive. It was just hard for me. It just, you know. Because on driving, I have to pay attention to everything. You know, that's why. And now, what apps I'm using to learn languages? Well, that's a good question, too. All right, so yeah, I have Duolingo, I have UTalk, I have AirLearn, I have Anki. So those are the apps I have right now for learning languages. Yeah, and I heard I can't just on language learning apps. I always have to speak it to people as well. So yeah. If you want to know, if you want to see my profile on Duolingo, I'll show you. Let me get to it. Alright, here's mine. Alright, so here's my profile on Duolingo. And here's all the courses I did. Yeah. I'm doing, yeah, Spanish, Mandarin, and math and music. I know it says Chinese, but and even though the language is called Mandarin, so yeah, for here's AirLearn right here. I'll just show you my profile. And here's AirLearn. I got it on Spanish, Mandarin, and also intermediate. And I also got it on intermediate English as well, since I'm trying to get my GED finished. On UTalk, well, also, oh, okay. So on, and this is where I was on Spanish. And I was on Latin American, so right there. And I also have Mandarin on there as well. So on your talk, but on Anki, well, on Anki you have to make your own flashcards. That's what I found out anyway. I think I have any cards still on default on Anki yet, but you know, I haven't made my own flashcards on Anki right now because I've been using UTalk. That's why. So, yeah. And I have YouTube, and I do have let's go back over here. Okay, so if there's any questions or you want me to talk about, let me know. You can let me know in the comments below. I'll just do that as 40%. Okay, so I'll probably put more videos of me and Jonathan Guzman pretty soon, talking about different things, I guess, about evolution, and yes, I'll talk about why. I'll talk about the CCP, and I'll talk about why do I believe, and yes, I'll talk about why do I live in the U.S. or something like that, and I think I already talked about that. Yeah, okay, sorry. I'll talk about why I'll talk about why I believe that China is a terrible country to live. I'll talk about that in a different video because what I learned, and I'll talk about what I learned from Matthew Tai from Lao Wei 6 and Winston Snurzel from Serpent CA because I've been learning about China from them basically. So I know they've been making so many. They've been making me. I know they've been making so many YouTube videos about China. So I know, and they've been always making them. But yeah, I sometimes see. But sometimes, well, sometimes Winston Snurzel does talk about South Africa once in a while, and that's good. I'm glad he's also talking about South Africa. You know. So, South Africa, yeah. I'll show you where it is. Yeah, it's right here. South Africa. Right there, yes. So this is where Winston Snurzel lived. Was born in. Yes. Was born in, yeah. And so is Elon Musk as well. And now they both live in the and I know they both live in the US, but yeah. Even though Winston Churchill now used to live in China for 14 years, but now he lives in the U.S. So. Anyway. So. All right. So anything else? Is there anything else you want me to talk about? You can leave in the comments below. Anyway, I have to go right now. So because I'm gonna probably eat dinner pretty soon anyway, so I have to go right now. So thank you for watching this video. Now, don't worry, I'll put this on YouTube, Rumble, and BitChute. All right, yeah. Hoping next week. And you have to go right now. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye. Adios. 再见.